Conservative minds debate the future. From tax cuts to border walls, strategies clash like a political rally. In the dark of the night, whispers of deceit, shadows dance on the walls. Secrets they repeat, a shadowed figure with eyes full of light, hiding truths in the shadows where no one dares to pry. Uncover the truth, yet the lies come undone. Peel back the layers until the light is shown. Uncover the truth, let the shadows run. Break free from the chains and find the sun. Uncover the truth in the dead of the night, where secrets lie hidden like a whispered bite. Uncover the truth in the dim of the light, where betrayals take root in the heart of the fight. In the rain-soaked streets, under the moon's pale light, a crime unfolds with a twisted, sinister might. A knife in the dark.
All right. Here we are on Bloodlines and Betrayal. And there has already been plenty of bloodshed today. But this is more. This is more. This is more. Yes. Yes. We will not discuss the other blood that has been shed.
I guess that would be a Bloodlines and Betrayals episode.
Yes.
Technically. Emergency Husky Huddle 11. Possibly. We probably should have a quick one.
For sure.
What time you go on with Marsh?
11:30. But yeah. We can do this.
Maybe do this a fairly quick one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
a lot though. It's a lot to cover.
It's pretty unique with how everything happened here. We are covering the Ben Johnson scandal, which was really the first of its kind involving doping in the Olympics in track and field, which has become more prominent. And we have seen stars get caught all over the place for doing the same thing. And I didn't know he was one of the first to break 10 seconds in the 100. And he...
No, that's not true. That's who? Ben Johnson?
Was he wasn't one of the first?
No. So what he did was he smashed the world record in the 1988 Olympics. Okay, so you have your facts correct here. In 1988, Ben Johnson smashed the world record. Okay?
Right, with the 987.
Okay, and smashed the world record in 100 meters. Before then, the record was 19.93 by Calvin Smith of the United States, which was ran at altitude. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So when he ran that, the record before that might have been 1990, or maybe it was 1991, and it was ran in altitude. And then
81, you mean?
Ben Johnson. Let's run
Ben Johnson was 88.
88 he ran. No, but what was his time? What was the time he ran?
It was, I believe it was 979.
979. Okay. So what I think it was 1991. What a 9.91 was the record, right?
Yes, because his got eliminated. Yes. Because they
979. Was that it? And he ran that at the Olympics, correct? I thought.
In Seoul, yes, I believe.
Yeah, in Seoul. He ran 979 in the 88 Olympics.
Because he also ran in 84.
In 87, he ran 9.83. So in the World Championships. What was the record before Ben Johnson?
Before Ben Johnson
ran 9.83. Yeah,
I thought Carl Lewis had it.
I think he was the first guy under 9.9, if I'm not mistaken.
That must be what I'm thinking.
Okay, that's what it was. He was the first guy under 9.9. Just so you get your facts right.
Right.
Calvin Smith ran 9.93 in 1983 at Colorado Springs in what do you call altitude. Then Ben Johnson smashed the world record in 87 at the World Championships in 9.83, and then in the Olympics ran 9.8 at 9.79.
What do you mean at altitude?
Well,
they would run at a higher peak, or
so that gives you the ability. The air's thinner. It gives you the ability to run faster in sprints.
Oh, it does.
Yes. So a lot of world records used to get set at that. The same reason why. I don't know if you're not track. I don't know if you did track or not, but you did.
I did, but
you were
not as well versed is the expert who has the track coach.
Yes. So world records. So for example, in 1968, a lot of world records fell at Mexico City because that was at altitude. That was where Bob Beamon went 29. I think it was like 29.2 in the long jump, which stood for like 30 years until Powell and Carl Lewis broke that record. But it was set at altitude. So
I thought it was always harder to run at altitude. Like they say playing at Mile High Stadium, the guys will get tired.
Right. So up to about 400 meters, it's a benefit because the air's thinner. You can move faster through the air. Here's the example: anaerobic stuff. For example, you could kick a football a lot farther at altitude. So, so when the field goals are kicked, they kick bombs at Mile High if the weather is
okay.
I mean, you'll see there's 1,050,000
plus. That makes sense.
Plus, yes. If
that's how the Giants lost on a massive field goal from the Broncos.
There you go. So because the air is thinner, things move farther. Think about it like this: less things holding you back, right? So it moves faster. But in the lungs, when the air is thinner, as soon as it gets beyond into aerobic activity versus anaerobic, so meaning beyond 400 meters, maybe 800 meters, and 800 meters might be the borderline, but we're definitely milers and above. Like when you get to that kind of stuff, it works against you because now the amount of air that gets into your lungs is much lower per breath, and that thin air works against you in any aerobic activity. But for any anaerobic activity, which is speed, explosion, jumping, throwing the shot put, kicking a field goal, throwing a javelin, you're going to have an advantage at altitude. So that's
why they had Lance Armstrong train at altitude, because it was anaerobic.
No, you train at altitude because your lungs get more capacity. Okay, because you're forced to work harder, they expand more, and now when you go back down to regular, you have an advantage. So a good example, and that really is people from Kenya, and Ethiopia, the really good runners. They would run to school in the morning because they didn't have, the same ability, wherewithal to get. So they would run miles, but in Ethiopia and Kenya, they're elevated incredibly high. Same thing, I think, in Tanzania. So they would run these distances in less air, in altitude. And then when they would come down, they would do this over 20 years. You know what I'm saying? They developed.
Come down to,
They
okay.
developed a greater lung capacity. So probably over time, there probably is a genetic component too for them, like growing up there, passing it down. There probably is an adaptation, but beyond the adaptation, they're actually training at that. And so now when they come down, that's what has made the Kenyans and Ethiopians so effective at distance running, because once they come from altitude down to regular, now they have greater lung capacity and it works different. So yes. So if you're training at it, right, restriction of lung capacity helps you if you are going to be a distance runner. When you come to it develops more lung capacity and then enables you. That's why Lance Armstrong would train at there. But as a sprinter, that's not really as relevant, right? You run faster. Yeah. So, so over the course of a football game, guys would get more tired in, of course, of a football game. But when a guy breaks an 80-yard run, they have the percentages on him. He's probably running faster on his breakaway than normal.
Right.
I don't know if that's good.
Right. No. Okay. That makes sense.
So when Johnson breaks these records, he's not even breaking them in altitude. He's breaking them at regular
sea level.
Sea level, right. He's breaking with sea level and he's smashing them.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. His improvement from race to race. And I didn't know he was an immigrant. He immigrated to Canada from Jamaica. So he was from Jamaica, and he struggled being a Black immigrant in a white dominant society. And that is what got him into sports, obviously. And he met his track coach, this Charles Francis, and joined a track and field club at York University, which is in Canada. And this guy, Francis, was a member of the Canadian team for the 72 Olympics in Munich. So I didn't know his entire story, but he had been competing for a while. I guess it started in the early 80s, or mid 80s, early to mid 80s. And then he obviously had a comeback that failed. And
you talking about Charlie Francis?
No, Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson ran in the 1984 Olympics.
4 Olympics, yes. He was
third.
Bronze medalist, behind Carl Lewis.
So he wasn't like a slouch, but he was a bronze medalist, but he wasn't as good as Carl Lewis. And that was part of
that was the
Carl
issue.
Lewis was America's, hero at the time in track and field.
He was the dynasty.
He won 4 gold medals in the 84 Olympics. And then now he was
he a decathlete too or something? Or no?
The long jumper.
That's what I'm thinking. Yes.
So track and field at that time. So quick history. 1980. Okay. Carl Lewis qualifies as a high schooler, I think, or he might have been 19, maybe just graduated high school. Qualifies for the Olympics in 1980. He might have been a freshman. Maybe he was a freshman in college.
Did we not participate in the 80 Olympics?
We boycotted the 1980 Olympics. Correct. Okay. And then 1984 comes. We host the night. We boycotted it because it was in
Russia.
Moscow. Yeah.
Moscow.
1984 Olympics. We hosted Russia and the Eastern Bloc countries boycott the 84.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So they boycotted
Okay.
that. And then shortly after that, maybe only few years after that, was when, or maybe a year or two after that, was when the wall came down in Germany.
Right.
And
It was
by
in the
time,
early 90s or late 80s.
well, by the time you got to the 88 Olympics, everybody was going to that. So, but that was kind of the quick history of it. And Charlie Francis is a legendary speed
Yes.
coach who is also obviously maligned because he gave or was a part of the team that was giving Ben Johnson steroids.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so
And
that's
I mean,
the
he
backdrop. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
he was, I mean, it seemed like he was fast. He ran a 10:05 as a member of the 4x1 team. He ran a 10.2, but obviously there's a massive difference between a 10.2, a 10.22, and then you're breaking 10 seconds. I mean, that's huge. And then he had a massive rivalry with Lewis, who he could never beat. He lost to him in '84, the Pan American Games. He finally beat him in the '86 Goodwill Games, and he ran a 9.95 for first place. Against Lewis, who ran a 10.06. Wow. And he also was the world record holder for the 60-meter time with a 6.5. Jesus.
Well, Ben Johnson, doing a great job with this, actually. So Ben Johnson had a unique starting technique. You've seen what Ben Johnson looks like, right? Incredibly built,
Yeah, he looked like Michael Johnson.
He even more built. Like he looks like a running back in the NFL. That's how he's kind of really, really like big muscle guy.
Big and thick.
At the time was kind of now is the norm.
Yes.
That's the funny part. They're tall and muscular like that. But back then, like if you look at, there's a guy called Kenny. His name is Kenny Bednarik. He's a sprinter for the United States. He's like 6'3", like 200 pounds.
Oh, wow.
He's a tall version of Ben Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but this was before really you had those guys. So his progress, it's kind of interesting. His progress was already on its way, even in 83 and 84.
Trying to see how old
Ben Johnson's argument was, along the way, but obviously it proved that he was taking steroids, that he really wasn't a progression. And after he came off, obviously once he was suspended, he came with the steroids, he never
came close. Yeah.
He never ran under 10 seconds again. You know what I mean?
He was in his late 20s too when he had his best times, which I would think, I mean, is that when you would peak as a runner in your late 20s? Because he was born in 61 and the record was in 88.
Days, most of them peaked in the early to mid 20s.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Now you've had first of all, I would say performance enhancing drugs in track and field is rampant. So
of course.
It's not the same as it was. It's probably more, what do you call it? HGH. What is it? Versions of TRT and HGH. And
there's no test for HGH and TRT. They can manage your levels.
Right. So they can put you to the brink. They could probably bring you to the. So now that's still legal though. So like you could bring them to the brink and keep their levels below the highest level is much higher than a normal, like the highest legal level is way higher than what a normal human being
should be at. Yes.
But it's not extreme, meaning like what happens with steroids or extreme amount of HGH is it goes to extreme levels. And I think, I don't know, you might have been able to look up what his testing levels were, but they must have been extreme, right?
Yeah, he tested positive for stanozol, which I believe is Winstrol. Is it known as Winstrol? I can't remember if it's Winstrol. But stanozol is usually used in conjunction with other steroids.
I thought he had used Dianabol. Maybe he didn't. Okay.
But he also had several injuries that would lead you to believe he was using something, because the type of injuries that he had would be from using drugs. Like he really hurt his hamstring, which was bad.
Right. He came back so quickly.
And
so I'm reading. ChatGPT says primary. I mean, he used a lot of shit. Holy cow.
Well, he used ephedrine too.
Stanozol he used, which is increases speed, power, recovery. Most famous, found in his urine at the '88 Olympics. That's the drugs that cost him the gold medal world record. Furazabol, I've never heard of it. It's similar to Winstrol. They found it in a Canadian inquiry. Testosterone, various forms. He used that. Cycled with stanzanol.
Yes.
Boldenon, which was a veterinary steroid.
Yeah, it's for horses.
Mentioned by his coach Charlie Francis during testimony, used to increase red blood cell count and endurance. Amazing. Human growth hormone, which was not detectable in the 80s.
He was using HGH back then?
It wasn't detectable in the 80s. Well, Charlie Francis was very advanced. And then they said some thyroid medications, diuretics to clear it, beta-2 antagonists for breathing efficiency, high-dose vitamins, obviously, we'd expect. And, wow.
He was on a protocol.
Yeah, they're going to – ChatGPT is going to give me his complete protocol. I'm going to get it. Now here's the other thing.
Imagine that.
The Carl Lewis. So they accused, and you might be reading this. I thought they accused Carl Lewis of doing it in some capacity. You know, most people don't believe that because Carl Lewis was the best from the time he was 19. Now, what brings all of it into question, period, I don't believe that Carl Lewis did anything, but because he was, I mean, I'm not kidding when I say this, Carl Lewis jumped 26 feet in high school. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, but you never know, because Marion Jones, who went down for steroids many years later, or maybe human growth hormone, whatever.
Marion Jones never tested positive. She freely admitted it.
Because she was on the clear, right? She did the clear.
Yes. Yeah.
Which was basically a cream, which is like an early version of what they give to adults now. You know what I mean?
For you rub in, yes.
It was probably obviously a much more powerful version, but yes, they were giving a powerful version, and as a cream, and that's what Barry Bonds was accused of and did.
Yep. And his trainer went to jail instead of testifying against him, which was crazy.
Correct. Which is crazy. And that was the same thing that Marion Jones was involved in, and so on and so forth. And Marion Jones, his husband, was a shot putter.
Yes.
CJ Hunter, who threw 70-plus feet. And now, what's interesting about it all is, like, come forward many years now. Obviously, I'd be shocked if all of these track athletes weren't using a level of HGH. I just think they're
there's no test for it.
Right, and they're probably riding. They just make sure their levels, because they test your levels, right? They probably just make sure their levels are below the allowable amount. Not that someone isn't cheating. I'm sure there are people that cheated, but like they probably have mastered some level of riding whatever that line is. You know, which are probably good. I probably can ask ChatGPT and get the answers. But this is interesting. So it said his dope. This was what his doping pro. So we talked about the drugs. His pattern was. You ready for this? His pattern. This is crazy. Okay, regular use of antibiotic steroids plus testosterone over weeks to months to build muscle and strength. Medical monitoring, blood tests, liver, kidney checks. See, they're way ahead of the curve on this stuff. Like, way ahead.
Even back then.
But bodybuilders were probably doing this version back then. You know what I mean?
It was legal. It was legal back then. It didn't become illegal until the late 80s.
Okay. So then
football players were doing it.
They would continue steroids until the testing windows. They picked drugs that would clear the system. Dr. Astafan told the inquiry he injected furazabol at about 27 days before the Seoul Olympics, believing that it would be safe.
It would be out of the system in time.
Close to the big races, they reduce or stop drugs and may add diuretics or other agents to speed exertion and beat the test. In 88, if backfired. So what would he – now my question is, if he – let's say he never came off of it, what would he have run? 9.69, 9.65 back then?
There's people that have always said they would want to see a performance enhancement league or universe where athletes are allowed to use performance enhancing drugs just to see how good they would do.
Right. They probably would die off a year later, but they would all.
Yeah. No, I know.
Well, you know, with blood testing now, you can monitor it. So my thought process is,
I agree.
Would they die off if they managed it right? Probably not.
I don't think so either. I think if it's used responsibly and it's cycled, then yes, it can be beneficial and it can be good for, it can even be healthy for you. They haven't done super long-term studies, but they've done studies.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, like, there's certain steroids that are really, really, like testosterone done in a healthy manner.
Yeah, we'd actually lose it.
You can actually, right. Now, with young people, that's the thing they have to figure out, like, what is the line there. But yeah,
right.
So it said here, he failed 3 tests for banned stimulants too. You're right, ephedrine and pseudoephedrine.
Yes.
That is, ephedrine is dangerous.
That can give you a heart attack. Carl Lewis even failed for ephedrine, it said.
Right,
and
because
that's why he does.
Ephedrine enables you to train harder.
Yes, yeah, it gets you going. It used to be in freaking some crazy supplements. It used to be in Rip Fuel. I remember taking Rip Fuel in college.
I took Rip Fuel. It was on. Yeah, I remember that.
I remember I used to take a pill of Rip Fuel before going out.
Yep.
And you'd be wild all night. It was just like
it just kind of got you up. It kind of got you up. Yeah.
And that's why even now you can't go to a store and buy Sudafed, the real Sudafed, without showing your driver's license. And
really?
Yes. And you're only
Sudafed has a little bit of ephedrine in it. Is that what it is?
Because it has ephedrine in it, and it's because it's the precursor with many people use to make crystal meth or meth. So they tried to put a ban or slow it down so you can only buy like 2 boxes of it at a time. And most places don't even sell the real Sudafed. They sell the alternative. I can't remember what it's called. It's called Cyclist something. And that's what people take because few places will even sell Sudafed now because they were getting robbed. Pharmacies were getting robbed, and they were getting robbed of Sudafed.
Sudafed was very effective too. I remember, you know what, they gave it to you as a kid.
Yeah, no, and it's still. I mean, it works. It works, and when you're sick, it works to get you through the day. If you're sick, if you're congested, if you have a cold, I mean, there's very few cold medicines that you can take and still go to work and be fine.
Right.
I mean, most cold medicines knock you out. They'll put you to sleep. Sudafed, even like Dayquil, has certain stimulants in it that help you throughout the day, get through the day. And that was all part of his training protocol. Like, wow, he had stimulants, he had performance enhancers between, I can't believe in 1988, he was taking HGH. Like, that's big. Because HGH, there's still not like a normal urine test for. HGH can only be detected in your bloodstream. And then even from there, the levels of it can be disputed. Like you don't hear of people failing drug tests for HGH often.
What I also think is really interesting with him, you know, he's 63 years old now, Ben Johnson.
He is. Yep.
He's not like on his deathbed or anything. So it tells you that it does tell you that even though it's those high levels should be illegal from a performance standpoint, the whole original fear of why they didn't want it was that people would, you know, just like keel over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the health, yes.
The health aspect. But obviously with Charlie Francis was way ahead. I'm not advocating any of this stuff, by the way. I'm just saying Charlie Francis and his team was way ahead of the curve as far as constant blood testing, measuring levels, understanding. Like, I can't believe that people understood back then, you know what I'm saying? Like, what these levels meant. Like that, like, it's just now a thing worldwide, you know what I mean? And AI is going to accelerate that. But I think you're right. I think you're dead on that. We're going to probably find out in about, I would say, close to 10 years, once AI starts to analyze all these things, that measured levels of this stuff, if you're doing blood testing and you're coupling it with the right things to
and you cycle it on and off. That's the biggest thing. You
probably
can't
not as deadly as you thought. Like I've heard Arnold talk about the reason why he had so many part of the problems he had was that early on he didn't know about all the blood testing stuff. But as he got into his later part of his career, even he understood that he started to get blood testing as he became richer and richer as a bodybuilder. At first, when he was a poor bodybuilder, he was taking it just to get big. And then
religiously,
and then so he was not doing it in a healthy manner. But then once he started to become obviously Mr. Universe and was in America, was making money, even in the 70s he was starting to measure that stuff. Actually, if you go back to East Germany, which is crazy, they didn't know anything.
They were doing it back in World War II.
They were doing it in the 50s and 60s, and they were managing. The group that was negatively affected the most was not the men. It was the women that were very negatively affected because they didn't understand what they could do and what they couldn't do. They were trying to apply similar principles that they did with men, with the women. That's why these women, these times that are still held from the East German and the Czechoslovakian women in track and field are unbelievable because there was no testing. When they ran these times,
they never would have suspected it.
No, and it was women. So, but it's interesting that the other thing that I think was really interesting, right? Carl Lewis did fail the Americans test. So talk about that. You looked that up. What'd they say?
he failed for stimulants, and it was not by much, but because of the positive test, he blamed it on cold and allergy medicines. And there was a supplement that he was taking that was found to contain Mei Huang, a Chinese name for ephedra, which he apparently didn't know that the supplement had it in it, and it was not listed on the banned list of supplements. Like now, if you go to any professional league's website, the NFL, they have a list of banned supplements.
Right.
Like, I know Brock Lesnar failed a UFC drug test because he was taking an estrogen blocker, which normally people will take when they're coming off a cycle of steroids, because your estrogen levels are going high during as you're adding testosterone, your estrogen goes up as well. So he flunked for that, and he got penalized. And Ben Johnson, I mean, he got suspended for years, and he had to go in front of the federal government in Canada and give testimony. And his coach had to give testimony, and other athletes. There was 122 witnesses over 91 days, and he was suspended. He attempted a comeback in 1991, and he was never the same. He finished second in the 50 meters, I guess. He didn't qualify for the 91 World Championships, but he did. I didn't even know this. He made the Canadian Olympic team in 1992. And after finishing second at the Canadian Olympic trials. But then he missed the 100-meter finals in the Olympics. But they said that he, like you said, he had a unique way out of the blocks. He stumbled out of the blocks in his semifinal run. And then in
the jump, it was like a two-legged jump.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you ever seen it?
No, I've never seen it.
Let me see if I can find it.
And then he in 1993, he was 0.04 seconds shy of the world record in the 50 meters. And he again was found guilty of excess testosterone, and he was banned for life from the IAFF. Wow.
He couldn't stay off the drugs. I
always wonder if he came back and he did okay. I always wonder if he was clean during that entire time,
right?
Or he just found a way around it and
that's my guess.
It right. Yeah, he got off it in time for the drug test, because back then there wasn't random drug testing like there is now. Now they'll just you have to let them know.
When I was in college, I remember guys trying to time things. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I would hear guys talking, and that wasn't anything that I ever was interested in. But I remember guys definitely 100% were.
Oh yeah, I remember guys.
That was the 90s. So this is even later than the 80s, right? So obviously it was going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's big money. It said that he was making like $480,000 at his peak. I mean, that's quite a bit of coin. $480,000 a month in endorsements after he broke the world record. So,
well, at least
I mean,
he at least he got money.
Well,
All right,
I'm sure he spent quite a lot of it in legal fees afterwards.
yeah.
And he was called a Canadian disgrace.
I know. His life probably is pretty crappy after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad to see.
It is sad. Here, that's him, by the way. See him? Are we able?
Wow. Yeah.
Look at the build on that guy. That was before guys were built like that as sprint. Now they're all built kind of like that. But
God, those traps, those shoulders, my God.
The 1988 final of the Olympic 100 meters.
So this was him and Carl Lewis.
They're taking the great advantage that he has away from him. Let's see his reaction now. Can't break.
And it's a fair start.
So if you see, he's right here.
Yeah, I see.
He's literally a head out in front of everybody. It's kind of like if you go back, he has this jump start. You kind of have to watch from the beginning. It's unique. All right, so we know where he is. He's right here, right? Carlos is in the middle, and then he's right to the left.
Right next to each other.
They're right next. But watch that start he has. It's crazy.
And it's a fair start. And it is Raymond Kerr with a start. It is Ben Johnson with a start.
I have never.
No, it's Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson does it again. Unbelievable.
I mean,
I've never seen a start like that before. I've never seen anyone use anything like that since.
No one's I think the power level, probably because of steroids that he was able to generate, made that start feasible. So that start became, I think people tried to do it after. Well, I don't know why I have this analyzing AI podcast in the background. That's weird. I don't know how that got there. So he so that two-legged jump out start, which allowed you to be taller. Most people drive out, right? Or over time they raise up. That's
right.
the airplane model, right? He's the only person in history that's been able to really make that effective, because he explodes and is basically almost straight up at like 15, 20 meters and is in his full stride length. So that means he gets a level of separation, whereas everybody else is taught to drive out, which is really the most effective.
Going, yes.
But he was so powerful and he was so quick, maybe partially because of the training and combined with steroids, that he made that effective and enabled him to, it enabled him to accelerate faster. And that way he would be able to stave off Carl Lewis, who had the big long stride that would catch him down the track. So it was really it's interesting. It was an interesting, because what's basically happened out of it is the training methodologies like that came from Charlie.
Adopted a lot. Like you said, they adopted a lot of the same training techniques that he had already been doing.
Right. So like Charlie Francis, now obviously he was utilizing steroids only, but obviously people were like, well, wait a minute. Okay. If we use some of these principles with explosive athletes as they actually learn to train better, lift better, all those kind of things, eat better, a lot of these things became the model that everybody did, and it was called central nervous system focused training, which is now what people use. So they were using it then, but it got marred for basically 25 years because of the steroid use. You know what I mean? Like, people were like, oh, the only reason they were good doing that was because of steroids. Well, yes, that's partially true, but their training methodologies have proven that as athletes get stronger, that actually allows them to be a certain level of effectiveness, which is really, it's kind of interesting that the training methodologies ended up lasting. Obviously, the steroids and all those kind, and now you probably see some form of, I bet you they're doing legal versions with creatine and probably testosterone and different things to get as close to mimicking those things as you can. And that's how you get Usain Bolt, who nobody knows for sure, but like, there's always accusations. But Usain Bolt, I watched him because I was coaching track in high school at the time. When he was a 16-year-old kid, he was actually originally a 400-meter runner. I watched him at the Penn Relays run 45 seconds into 400 meters at 16 years old.
Really?
Yes, 16 years old. When he was coming around the track, this is long before he became Usain Bolt, they said, this is the future of Jamaican track. And he was 16 at the time. They said, this is the future. They already knew that he was 6'5", obviously, which is enormous for a sprinter. And he came whizzing around the track, and I was like, I've never seen, like, he literally looked like a tight end in the NFL.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was completely different.
I mean, he's leaner. Obviously, he's more built, like, he's weight-wise, he's more like a receiver at 200 pounds, or 205. But yeah, no, it's like him at University of South Carolina right now. That does track and football.
Yeah,
who's 6'5", 220 pounds, ran the 100 meters in 10-1 in high school. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. In high school, that's crazy.
He ran 10-1 in high school. He's 6'5", 220. He's a receiver for University of South Carolina.
Wow.
It's
is he running track in college?
I think one of the reasons why he went to South Carolina was I think they were going to allow him to run track. Let me see what his name is. I always forget it. His name, Nick Harbor. Nick Harbor, NYCK Harbor.
Oh, okay.
Nick Harbor is a receiver for he looks like he's the Usain Bolt. He's 6'5", 244.
Jesus.
Wide receiver, Steve. 6'5", 244. That's
the size of Hanson as a tight end.
Yes, ran the 100 meters in high school in 10-1-1.
That's, I mean, a 10-1-1 in high school, and to not be on anything, that doesn't make sense. That's really fast.
6'5", 240.
Yeah, I mean,
Hanson size, but a sprinter, Olympic level sprinter.
That's
ran 20.2. Ran in high school. Ran 20.2 in the 200 meters.
That is absolutely crazy. And I'd love to see what that would place in track if he runs track.
Oh, he did run. He ran track as a freshman. Okay, so he's a sophomore now. He was a second team All-American in track as a freshman.
Okay. That's just a freak athlete right there.
That kid will be a first-round draft pick.
100%.
His father played pro soccer in the United States for 12 years and was second overall pick in the MLS draft. Jeez. That's good.
Oh, it's a soccer guy.
His father was a soccer guy who was originally from Nigeria. But
wow.
But anyway, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, let's see this year. I wonder what his stats are for this year.
What is the current world record for the 100 right now?
I think it's 958 by Usain Bolt, which is no one's been. I mean, guys have run in the 9.6s now. There's quite a few guys that have run in the 9.6s, but no one's run under 9.6 other than Usain Bolt.
And didn't Tim Montgomery have the world record for a little while?
Tim Montgomery, I think he got banned, right?
He did, yes. He was part of that same group.
And he was also he was part of the Clear group. He was part of the Marion Jones Clear group. Yeah.
Right.
Which, by the way, that would be a great one. Marion Jones.
Yeah, I know. Marion Jones. I mean,
she was the darling.
She was. She came out and she admitted using, and she played in the WNBA for a few years.
She was a great basketball player. Yes. Tim Montgomery ran 9.78. He broke the record, which came off in 2002, but that was before.
Yes.
When Usain Bolt came around. It kind of
they brought him to camp with the Patriots.
Dude, you got this Charlie. I pulled up this whole Charlie Francis scheduling. It's mind blowing. It's brilliant. It's too bad it was.
Is he still alive?
Charlie Francis. I mean, if he was in the 72 Olympics, there's a chance he might be alive. Yeah.
I'm just checking right now.
Yeah.
He died in 2010.
Oh, he did. Okay, so he was pretty old then.
He died. No, he died young actually.
Oh, really? Maybe too much juice.
He was born in 1948. He died of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Okay, that's probably unrelated.
Wow. Yeah.
Charlie Francis is famous for the high-low split used by many modern sprinters and coaches. High on, high on Monday, low on Tuesday, high on Wednesday, low on Thursday, high, low. I mean, a lot of people use the interesting CNS dominant. Charlie Francis.
And he also coached Tim Montgomery and Marion Jones.
Oh, he did, Charlie Francis.
Yeah. That's crazy. All right, I got to go over to my other show.
Yes, good one.
Have a happy Thanksgiving, and if you want to talk,
everyone
Friday,
wants an emergency podcast, dude.
The what?
And they want an emergency UConn podcast.
Well, Friday. We can do it on Friday.
But that's not emergency.
You want an emergency UConn podcast? You want to do it after this? I can do it after I finish with
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I can do it after I finish with Laban. Yeah,
it'll be quick. We do it quick. I mean, what are we going to talk about? 20 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. You got it, Cashew Crew and Nathan Gorella. You'll get an emergency podcast.
All right. You put the link up. I'll be on as soon as I'm done.
All right. You want to close this out?